So this news topic has pretty much taken me by surprise, and I didn't think I would be making a video about this, if I'm going to be completely honest, because I really wasn't expecting a massive popular game like this to come to modern consoles in today's date for modern gaming. And I'm going to be honest, I'm actually really excited for this because one of my favorite childhood games is finally coming to modern consoles like the PS4, PS5, and Nintendo Switch. I don't know if it's available on Xbox or PC just yet, but for those of you who did not hear the news, let me catch you up to speed real quick. So, PlayStation and Nintendo have both made their announcements, and Nintendo had their partner direct, I think it's what it's called, and Nintendo had their little showcase, and one of those games coming out is Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. And no, I'm not talking about the newer ones that were mediocre at best. I'm talking about the classic Star Wars Battlefront games. So I actually do want to show you a screenshot to show you what I mean. So I'm going to pull it up for you folks. So if we take a look at the PlayStation Store here, we can see that the classic Star Wars Battlefront games are going to be available on March 14th for PlayStation. And if any of you have played Star Wars Battlefront in the past on the PS2, like the first one or the second one, I'm pretty sure you folks are going to be genuinely hyped for this. Now, before I do get on with my thoughts and opinions of what I think about this news, I bet some of you folks are probably wondering, well, Nightwing, what about Xbox or PC? Do you know if they're coming to those platforms? Well, like I said at the introduction of this video, I'm not 100% sure if they're coming to Xbox or PC. I haven't really seen any news about those platforms, but I did see reports and news from PlayStation and Nintendo that it's gonna be available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and the game is also gonna be coming to the Nintendo Switch on March 14th. So that's really cool. But like I've said, I have not seen anything for Xbox or PC just yet. But if it does at some point in the future, I think that would be awesome. But if it doesn't, then that would absolutely suck. And it is what it is, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to wait and see what Xbox and the PC platform get in the near future. But as of now, I do want to express my thoughts and opinions on what I think about this news topic because like I've already said, like this has taken me by surprise and I did not think that we would get this collection, I guess, coming to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Now, the $1 million question I would like to know is are we going to get physical copies for this game, or is it just going to be digital only? Because you also got to take into consideration that we're starting to slowly move into the digital only future, and that has been a massive hot take in the game industry so far, and it still is. And I would like to personally know, like, if we're getting these games, I want to know if we're going to get physical copies for them, because I know for a fact that if we do, then it's safe to say that people are going to get them and the games are just going to fly off the shelf. Like, let's call it for what it is, because I'm going to be honest with you folks, as a massive Star Wars fan myself, I think this is something that we desperately needed for quite a long time in the game industry because most of the games coming out nowadays are just a pile of dog crap and they're just unfinished and riddled with bugs. But so far in 2024, we have been getting good games like Pal Worlds and Helldivers 2, which I have not played yet and I have not really looked into as much, but I heard a lot of good things about that, but that's a topic for another day. But the point is, we've been getting a lot of mediocre games lately, except for Pal Worlds and Helldivers, like I just said. but 90% of the games coming out nowadays are just not as good. But seeing something like this pop up out of nowhere, I think this is genuinely good news for us. And as long as it's any form of news, whether it's good or bad, I still want to try to cover it and give my opinions on what I think about this, because the Star Wars Battlefront games, like I mentioned at the start of this video, the newer Star Wars Battlefront games on like the PS4 and Xbox One, they're just mediocre at best, and they're just either a massive hit or miss. And if any of you have played Star Wars Battlefront in the past, like on the PS2, I think you would know how fun those games actually were, especially the Galactic Conquest mode in the second Star Wars Battlefront game. I remember playing this game with my brother on the PS2, and we had so much fun, and we were genuinely jaw dropped of what we can do in Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 1. Don't get me wrong, the first Battlefront on the PS2 was awesome as well, but we enjoyed the second one a lot more because there was so much more you can do in that game. I remember playing Galactic Conquest with my older brother on the PS2, and I remember we built up a massive fleet, and we had like, I think at least 10 ships on like the Galactic Conquest map for Battlefront 2, and we just swarmed the entire galaxy, and we had so much fun. And yes, I also did do a head-to-head match with my brother in Galactic Conquest as well, and it was such a neck and neck match back in the day. As a matter of fact, even before recording this video, I even told some of my friends that are massive Star Wars fans about this, and even they are pretty excited for this kind of game to come out. Especially because one of my friends that I play with on PlayStation is such a massive Star Wars fan like me. I think we both even agreed, like, yeah, we're gonna get this game as soon as it comes out. As excited as I really am for this game to come back to modern consoles like PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, I am also pretty worried as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think this is pretty awesome that we're getting a legendary title like the classic Star Wars Battlefront games to come back. I think that's awesome, but I'm also still pretty worried because if some of you folks remember the massive controversy with Rockstar last year when they released the Red Dead Redemption 1 port for the Nintendo Switch, it wasn't a remaster of the game. It was just a straight port of the classic Red Dead game, and without any of the bug fixes or anything, it was just a copy and paste onto the Switch, and Rockstar kind of blew that opportunity to make Red Dead Redemption 1 a great game. Don't get me wrong, Red Dead Redemption 1 is a fantastic game. What I'm trying to say is they blew the fact that they could have remastered the first one by fixing all the patches and everything, but they didn't because they just copy and pasted like the lazy corporate bums they are. And I'm genuinely worried that Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the classic ones, I fear that they could suffer the same fate. But as of now, only time will tell to see if they blow the port or if they make the port successful or not. So, unfortunately, we're just going to have to play the waiting game here, and we're just going to have to wait and see how this game gets handled. I am worried about this game coming out, but I'm also genuinely excited, and I can't wait to get my hands on this game and get that nostalgia feeling again. So I figured I'd get on and make this video because, like I've said at the start of this video, I really wasn't expecting this kind of news to break out, but when I did hear it break out, I just wanted to make a video about this and talk about it. So I hope some of you folks are excited for this to come out if you play on PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch. I hope this game comes to Xbox and PC as well, so some of you folks out there that play Xbox or PC can get your hands on this classic title as well. And I hope we can get physical copies of this game. And if we do, that would be amazing. But if we don't, that would absolutely suck. And it will be unfortunate for game preservation. But like I've said, we're just going to have to wait and see how they handle this port. So With this being said, thank you everyone for watching and for listening. And until next time, I'm talking about Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, the classic titles coming to modern consoles. And I'll see you all later.